thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. It's great to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me, Emily.
So, since this is your first time on our channel, I'd love it if you could start by giving the viewers and myself a quick background on yourself, like how did you get involved in Origin Resources, and if you could give us a high level overview of the company as well.
Okay, I founded the Origen Resources back in 2020 after I was successful in a couple other companies, so I had to have something to do. So I formed Origen Resources. We're a project generation company. Primarily looking for commodities and a wide range of them. And my background as a geologist and a mining entrepreneur, has kind of led me into this business model of being a project generator, and it's been worked out very successful for us. The company has put together amassed of a variety of projects from lithium to gold, silver, copper across all different countries, and so that's kind of where we're at. Our team has been involved with various successes, and most recently in the lithium space in Argentina and in Ireland. Prior to that, we were involved in one of Canada's initial diamond mines, making a discovery there. We've made discoveries in rare earths and in other commodities around the world. So we have a very skillful team. We wanted to put it to use, so that we have essentially formed Origin Resources around our team.
Awesome. And for some potential investors who may be watching this, a lot of them are always looking for their next early stage opportunity. So I'm curious to know is what sets Origin Resources apart in the exploration space today?
Well, I think, as I mentioned, being a project generator, you're always one step ahead of where the market wants to be. You don't go looking for copper when it's a hot copper market because, everything gets tied up. And, we got involved, for example, in lithium when nobody could hardly even spell the word lithium. It was back in 2008 when we put together a portfolio of projects. So that's essentially what we do with the team, and that's what makes us a lot different than we don't chase what's hot in the market. We're ahead of it, and I think that's what really makes our team and our company much different than I'd say 90% of the other companies out there.
Yeah, definitely. And now I wanted to get a little bit more into some of your projects. So I want to speak a little bit on the Broken Handle project, which you guys recently put out a news release where you announced the completion of an exploration program there. So what were some of the most encouraging results of that program, and how do those results guide your next steps with the project?
Yeah, well, actually, Broken Handle's a part of a series of projects that we have in southern British Columbia. It was recently returned to us, and we had found from some initial exploration work that there was a lot of yet to be discovered old workings on the property, and it's very close proximity to a very famous gold camp called the Franklin Camp. And so the work that was done this year and was just recently completed was a LiDAR survey with a ground follow-up. And from that survey, we were able to determine that there was several undocumented workings, and some were quite established at the time, where they had a complete rail system installed, and lengthy adits where, obviously, they were after something and quite serious about it to go to that amount of work. What is interesting is that the one in particular area was undocumented. There was no record of any production or anything from that, but yet it is probably the most extensive workings on the property. So we're fairly excited about that. We're waiting on some results back now from the samples that were taken. But again, it's just one of our portfolio of properties in that particular area, in southern British Columbia.
Awesome. And I also saw in the news as well that recently you guys closed a second tranche of financing. So I was wondering what was the goal of that financing and what would some of those funds be for?
Yeah. Well, the funding was a small funding, which allows us to essentially accelerate our project generation that we're doing. And in particular, now what we're focusing in on is rare earths as well as and including antimony. We have been working on this for the last couple of years, and we've identified now a couple of areas that we would like to move into and required a bit of extra capital to complete our due diligence. So these are things that the way the business model is of Origin is essentially it's a self-generating, self-financing vehicle for the most part when it's all working. Again, we discover projects, we bring them on to a point, we bring in partners, and we like to sell 100% of these assets to the incoming partners, keep a royalty, but as well as own a large take a large position in the incoming companies. And to fund our continued operations, we'll sell off a little bit of the assets from time to time, and some of the shares. But mainly it's a strategic holding for the company, and it's our goal to continue to do this, and that's how you monetize a mineral property. You turn it into shares and or cash for the benefit of your shareholders, and so that's what we've been doing. We found ourselves, that we needed to accelerate on. Again, because it's in the news, all the rare earth elements and the need for antimony. So to accelerate it, we needed, instead of to liquidate strategic positions, we decided, well, let's put a little capital in the company now. Most of that capital came from very close and people and insiders. So, the little bit of dilution that we had, I think it's going to pay off in spades here for us, with regards to, the accelerated due diligence that we're currently doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm curious to know about what's on the horizon for the company. So could you give us any insight into what the next year or so might look like for Origin Resources in terms of like projects, partnerships, or any major milestones you're hoping to hit?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're definitely moving full steam ahead here now. We're trying to, like as I mentioned, close up a couple of new potential, yeah, acquisitions in those commodities, rare earths, and so I think mainly it'll be deal flow. We're going to see an accelerated deal flow. The last year has been. We were a bit sidetracked with regards to deal flow because of a takeover offer, and now that's behind us. We're full steam ahead, and with our team, and we're going to be generating projects. We're going to be doing deals, and I'm very excited on what we're seeing on the horizon here, and not only in Canada, but throughout the world where we're looking currently.
Awesome. And I know we've kind of kept questions a little bit more on the company, but this is more of a general question that I'm interested to get your take on. We've seen gold making a lot of headlines recently in the news, hitting record highs, breaking ceilings in terms of price, and sparking a lot of renewed investor interest. So, what's your outlook on gold prices in the near term, and how do you think some of these market trends will impact Origin Store strategy going forward?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think gold is, it's a total mystery why it's where it's at. I think it's we're all kind of amazed that about its sustainability. It had a major correction, obviously, over the last day, and I do think it can't endlessly continue to go up. But with that being said, I do think that. Are we ever going to see a $1,500 ounce of gold again? I don't think so. Most of the mines that were built, were based on, $1,000 and $1,500 an ounce gold. Now, if we see sustained $3,000 an ounce gold, you're going to see a lot of these lower grade deposits, all of a sudden, half a gram per ton, an open pitable situation is going to look pretty attractive. So I think that's where you have to look at. What is the long-term economics of gold, where it's going. I do think a lot of gold production will be tied with other deposits. You're seeing porphyry copper. A lot of people are looking for copper because copper is a strategic element, but a lot of these porphyry coppers do have minor amounts of gold, and it's going to really change the economics of a lot of these deposits. And so, for us, we look at gold as a mainstay. We're always looking for good gold projects, but now it's getting a little easier. A lot of these projects that were really low grade are looking a whole lot more attractive, and it changes the our outlook on what we're looking for and the type of deposits.
Yeah, definitely. And now for one of my last questions, kind of wrap up, I just want to know if you can share a little bit on some near-term catalysts for the company and what we might expect to see in the news in the coming months.
Yeah, I think as I mentioned, I think we're going to see some new acquisitions within the next few months, definitely, and in various areas around the world. I think with the little bit of capital that we've put in, I think the wheels are already in motion. I think that will be a milestone for us. I think focusing in on the rare earths and antimony over the last couple of years, on our private research is going to start to pay off here in the short term. So I think that's really going to be the real catalyst moving forward. I think the market for these type of assets is ripe right now. I think there is a lot of interest in that sector, and but I do think that with now that we're just getting geared up and starting to do deals, I think it'll be the deal flow that'll really be the catalyst for this company, and hopefully we have some sustained market. That we don't nosedive after a couple of bad days in the
Yeah.
gold market. But I do think we're on a long-term trend here for the metals. And not only just rare earths, but lead, zinc. I think is also a very positive outlook to it. Copper, obviously, and silver. I think silver's again another undervalued commodity. Even with its meteoric rise here in the last few weeks and months, but it's still, it's an industrial mineral. It's
Yeah.
unlike gold. We use silver in a lot of our electronics.
Oh, well, thanks again for all your input. And it was so great to hear about the company. I really appreciate you joining us today and sharing some of your insights for me and the viewers as well. Best of luck with everything coming up at Origin, and we hope to be watching the news very closely.
Well, thanks very much.